Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
We live in UK's third world city. It's like a war zone with major incident declared over festering street rubbish. Birmingham is quickly transforming into a third world city, according to residents impacted by the ongoing bin strikes, which has left 17,000 tons of rubbish on the streets. A major incident was declared this week by Birmingham City Council after the industrial action left mountains of uncollected waste piled high across the city. Members of the Unite Union have been on all-out strike since March 11 in a dispute over pay and job losses. Brummies say the row has left many areas looking like a war zone and a third world country, and they now fear for their health. Locals have previously reported rats the size of cats, scurrying around their neighborhoods while stray cats and foxes also tear open bags in search of food. Shocking photos over the last few weeks have shown mountains of filthy fly-tipped rubbish and overflowing bin bags strewn across the second city. The city's rat man, pest control expert Will Timms, said his phone is ringing off the hook. The owner of WJ Pest Solutions is absolutely shattered after working non-stop for 2.5 months. There's a real sense of disbelief about the scale of what's happening here. I've been doing this for 11 years, and I've never seen anything like this, he told the iPaper. The rats are not only getting bigger, but they're also getting bolder, venturing into people's homes and even destroying cars. Data2 Emil Lawson, 34, of Balsall Heath, said bankrupt Birmingham was becoming a joke as the bin strike chaos continued. He said, "We can't believe it has been allowed to get to this point. It has become a public health issue for sure. We are fast transforming into a third world city. The place is becoming a joke. It had worked for years to shake off this label of being a dump. But just look at the streets now. It has literally become a makeshift dump. We're back to being laughing stock. We've seen some amazing community spirit with people helping to clear the mess, but others have just dumped bags anywhere and everywhere. Some are taking no pride in the area, and the affect has been these scenes of absolute carnage, like a war zone. The whole situation is a mess, quite literally." By Hope Brotherton, travel reporter. If you're looking for a city break destination in the UK, you might want to consider a weekend in Birmingham. Holidaymakers always seem to gloss over my hometown in favor of other UK haunts like London, Bath, York, and the Cotswolds. And it seems I'm not alone in my love of Brum, because a team of travel experts at Time Out have named Birmingham one of the best places in the UK for a city break in 2025. Despite being home to the world's biggest Primark and the Bullring Shopping Centre, it was Birmingham's thriving arts and culture scene that was praised by the Time Out team. They wrote, "Despite near-total cuts to arts and culture funding, this Midland city is humming with new energy. Under railway arches and in old factories, the already well-established creative scene in Digbeth continues to boom. Take new indie bookstore Voce Books, part of community space The Warehouse, where Brum's readers, writers, and activists gather for regular readings and talks. Packed with independent restaurants, lively pubs, and quirky entertainment attractions, Digbeth is the city's vibrant creative quarter. It's home to the Custard Factory, a restored Victorian factory that's a maze of shops, restaurants, cocktail bars, a cinema, and other activities. Golf Fang, a crazy golf course, is one of my favorite spots in Digbeth. You can't go wrong with a pint at the Rainbow either. Try their vegan bottomless brunch if you really want to push the boat out. Nearby, there's also the Old Crown, which is thought to have one of the best roast dinners in the country. For something a little more upmarket, stop for a cocktail or two at Passing Fancies, where you'll certainly be able to taste the booze. Birmingham is much more than one neighborhood, with other attractions dotted throughout the city center. If you're traveling with young children, the Legoland Discovery Center and the National Sea Life Center in Birmingham are both just a short walk from Birmingham New Street train station. Further afield in Bourneville, there's also Cadbury World. The world-famous chocolate company lets visitors tour its Bourneville site and watch chocolate being made and decorated in real time. Last year, Cadbury World welcomed new attractions like Cadbury Chocolate Quest, the site's first new ride in 27 years. Back in the city center, in Chamberlain Square, lies Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery, which reopened last year following a 4-year-long renovation. Birmingham is home to a number of other attractions that have flown under the radar, including the country's #1 hidden gem attraction. Mazar Dad is a former senior manager at a Birmingham waste depot and now works for the charity Mech Trust in Balsall Heath. The 56-year-old said, "The problem has got tremendously worse week by week. The rat population has increased. You've got cats and foxes roaming the streets ripping open bags for food. It is just appalling. There has been no adequate contingency plan put in place, and now we have tons of waste on the streets. There's been all the talk of it costing millions in equal pay claims, but nobody seems to be talking about how many millions it will cost just to clear the streets up. If the strikes ended tomorrow, it would still take months and months to shift the rubbish caused by this fiasco. There's all sorts of implications. You've got the health issues as it gets warmer. You'll see even more rats. And then there's the economical impact on the city too. We have elected members and people in highly paid jobs managing these services, so it's disgraceful it's been allowed to come to this. I ran a depot a few years ago, and at the last strikes in 2017, the council put these new job roles in place, but they have just been terribly mismanaged since. We definitely need central government intervention. I cannot believe it has been allowed to get to this stage." Mumtaz Khadim, a butcher at Al Badr supermarket in Balsall Heath, said, "I think it's ridiculous. Somebody needs to come and pick this up. As a community, we are all together as one, but nobody is helping us out. It's no good for the health plus. We have children here going to school, and they have to see all this. The situation is just no good for anybody." Birmingham City Council said actions on the picket line had been blocking contingency vehicles from getting out of the depot to collect what rubbish they could. They said a major incident needed to be declared following rising concerns of risks to public health and damage to our environment. Councillor John Cotton, leader of Birmingham City Council, said, "It's regrettable that we have had to take this step, but we cannot tolerate a situation that is causing harm and distress to communities across Birmingham. I respect the right to strike and protest. However, actions on the picket line must be lawful, and sadly, the behavior of some now means we are seeing a significant impact on residents and the city's environment. Unless we declare a major incident and deploy the Waste Services Contingency Plan, then we would be unable to clear the backlog of waste on the streets or improve the frequency of collections." By Tracy Candela and Freya Parsons. There are rats the size of cats in this UK city and mountains of rubbish along the streets. Residents have complained that the area stinks, and you can't turn a corner without tripping over heaps of waste. Huge rats plaguing rubbish-riddled Birmingham amidst the bin workers' strike are terrifying locals as the industrial action, which started early this year, continues. The clash between Waste Collectors Union Unite and Birmingham City Council over the scrapping of a safety-critical role and pay cuts has led to indefinite strikes. Overflowing bins have caused utter carnage, with chaos set to worsen. Taxi drivers are warning. As residents, workers, and shoppers desperately try to avoid the vermin-hit streets, Cabby Abid Hussein said, "The garbage is piling up, the vermin are coming out. It is disgusting. The city is filthy, it stinks. It is a health issue, and the situation will only get worse." The driver of 32 years slammed authorities for allowing Britain's second biggest city to go to the rats. Abid, speaking exclusively to The Sun, sighed, "It should never have come to this. People are terrified to come out. No one wants to see rats scurrying around all the unemptied bins and the rubbish dumped in streets, alleyways, and gardens. It is a terrible advert for the city where I have worked for more than 3 decades. I am a barometer for Birmingham, and this is the worst it gets. I want to thank residents for their continued patience under difficult circumstances and the community groups who have been working hard within their communities to help with clear-up." I would reiterate that we have made a fair and reasonable offer to our workers, which means none of them have to lose any money, and I would urge Unite to reconsider their position. Unite said the major incident declaration was an attempt to crush any opposition to attacks on jobs, pay, and conditions. General Secretary Sharon Graham said, Birmingham Council could easily resolve this dispute, but instead it seems hellbent on imposing its plan of demotions and pay cuts at all costs. If that involves spending far more than it would cost to resolve the strike fairly, they don't seem to care. We can only conclude that this massive pay cut for hundreds of refuse workers is only the start, and this is really about stamping out any future opposition to its plans to unleash austerity too on Birmingham. I urge Birmingham Council to rethink this disastrous strategy and to find a way forward that doesn't involve workers and communities having to pay for politicians' mistakes. Unite will never accept attacks on our members, and we will continue to defend Birmingham's refuse workforce to the hilt. Birmingham City Council did not wish to comment further when approached by The Sun.